welcome to Kids Corner. I'm here with my friend Sir Winston, and he's sort of dressed as an artist today because we're going to do something that's a little artistic. You know, when I saw my dress in the store, I thought, that reminds me of stained glass. So I'm wearing it today because we're going to do something that's like stained glass. Now you may have stained glass in your house. We have this one in ours. It hangs up in our window. But you also see stained glasses in a lot of churches. Your church may have some stained glass. I have some pictures of stained glass that we have at our church. This one's a close-up of the nativity scene, and this one's several different ones of Jesus. Stained glass has been used in churches for years. It started a long, long time ago, way before you or your parents or your grandparents or your great-great-grandparents were born. Because a lot of people couldn't read, the church used stained glass windows to help tell the stories that are in the Bible. Now, today, to make our stained glass, we're going to need a number of things. The first one is we're going to need some paint. Now, I use tempera paint, but the most important thing about paint is the word washable. So you can buy some washable paints. You may be able to use washable markers, but if it isn't washable, don't use it. One of the other things that we'll need is painter's tape. In a pinch, you can use masking tape, but it can be a lot harder to clean off the window. Now, my painter's tape was a little wide, so I ended up going through and cutting it in half. You'll need brushes. Softer brushes are a little better. You'll need some containers to mix your paint in, some water to help mix it. It's probably good to put newspaper or something down where you're working. Have a wet rag because this could be messy. And I'm going to put on an apron because I don't want to get paint on my clothes. So here we are. And I got it started just a while ago to give us an idea about what's going to happen. So I'm going to pull back. I'm working on the door window in our back room. And what I did was I created a central design with masking with the painter's tape. So I started with a cross, and I've put rays out from the cross. And I put sort of tape around the edge. This is a really good idea because eventually you're going to have to wash this off, and it makes washing off a lot easier. So now what I'm going to do is fill in some of these areas with little tape because it's going to create areas that we can paint. So we're going to get started on that, and I have all sorts of little bunches of tape that I've put up to help us get going. Now I've finished putting on the green painter's tape. And I should have said, before you do that, make sure you clean the window because the paint will stick much better. So now we're getting ready to paint. And I'm not sure what colors you have at home, but often you can mix colors to get what you want. And so what I've done is made a color wheel to help you. So if you think about taking a rainbow and kind of making it into a circle, that's a little like the color wheel. We have 3 different colors that are called primary colors: red, yellow, and blue. And if we mix those colors, we can get most of the colors we want. Red and blue give us purple. Red and yellow give us orange. And yellow and blue give us green. And when we mix the 3 of them, the red, the yellow, the blue, we kind of get a brownish color. So let's start mixing some of our paints. So I'm going to start with the yellow. And it's kind of different. The yellow, when it comes out in a powder, kind of looks a little off-white. But when we add some water, and then we're going to mix it, you can see that it's starting to get yellow. Now we have to think about how much water to put in. The more water you put in, the less strong your color is, but you'll be able to kind of see through it rather than it being kind of all, well, the word they often say is opaque, that you can't see through it. So this is what our yellow looks like. And I'm going to get a softer brush to paint it on, because the softer brush works a little easier. And so I'm going to paint a few strokes to see what it looks like. And I'm going to paint the yellow on what looks like the rays coming out from the cross. These pieces, sort of little triangles, different shapes, that's what we're going to paint different colors. So we're going to see, sort of smooth it out. And that's how we're going to do it. Fill it in. So I'm going to start painting, and we'll get back to you when I'm done. I've taken some time off to let this dry, and so you can see actually it's morning and we've got light shining through it. So now what we're going to do is start picking off the tape so that the triangles are outlined. So find a piece of tape that's kind of on top and start peeling away. And I've got a damp cloth because sometimes I didn't press the tape down well and some paint seeped through. So here we go. And see, this gives us a nice line through to the outside. And so we just keep pulling them off carefully. Oh, and we see where some came through. Yeah, I would. them up. Now you may notice that some of them look different because halfway through painting, I decided rather than making brush strokes going like this, I started going kind of around. So what that gives you is perhaps a little look like some of the stained glass you've seen. Now, one of the things you can do is that if you have a darker color paint, you can fill in all of these. That's going to take a lot of time, and I think I'm going to leave this the way it is because then I can see through the window. If you didn't have painter's tape, you might actually just want to take black lines and use that and then fill in. You have to be a lot more careful doing it though. So I hope you'll try this at home. All sorts of different designs. And if you do, we would really like you to send us a picture so we could post it at United Churches for Dartmouth. So if you make one, could you please send us a picture to UCFD, short for United Churches for Dartmouth, at gracedartmouth.ca. And then we can post it so that we can all enjoy what you've done. And now, to end this off, why don't we have a little prayer? If you could repeat after me. Loving God, thank you for being with us. Thank you for the people who look after us. Help us to let the light of love shine through us. Amen. And see you next time at Kids Corner.